Have you ever wondered how one event could reshape the entire world? Today we delve into the riveting narrative of World War II, an event that dramatically transformed the global landscape. This was no ordinary conflict. Its scope was unparalleled, touching every corner of the globe and leaving an enduring legacy that still resonates today. The echoes of this war continue to reverberate, shaping our present and future. Join us as we journey through the tumultuous timeline of World War II. The year is 1939. Unrest is brewing in Europe. Political tension is reaching a boiling point. The world watches with bated breath as the continent teeters on the brink of chaos. In the heart of this turmoil, Germany, under the rule of Adolf Hitler, is flexing its military muscle, eyeing its neighbors with predatory intent. The air is thick with an undercurrent of unease, a premonition of the storm that's about to break. And then, on a fateful day in September, the unthinkable happens. Germany invades Poland, defying the international treaties and crossing the boundaries of peace. This audacious act marks the start of the Second World War. The world watches in stunned silence as the first shots are fired, the first lives lost, the first cities razed to the ground. Suddenly, the political chessboard of Europe is thrown into disarray. The game of power has turned deadly. Thus, the world was plunged into a catastrophic conflict. The world watched in horror as the Axis powers began their conquest. This was no ordinary skirmish. The Axis powers, a formidable alliance of Germany, Italy, and Japan, were on a relentless march, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. In the early stages of the Second World War, the Axis powers tasted a series of striking victories. Germany, under the iron grip of Adolf Hitler, stormed across Europe with a Blitzkrieg strategy, a rapid, overpowering force that left their enemies reeling. Poland fell in less than a month, Denmark and Norway in just 2 months, and France was brought to its knees in just 6 weeks. Meanwhile, in the east, Japan was flexing its muscle. With a startling victory over the Russian fleet in 1905 still fresh in memory, Japan sought to expand its empire further. The invasion of China in 1937 marked the beginning of Japan's aggressive expansion, which would soon extend across the Pacific. And then there was Italy. Under the dictatorial rule of Mussolini, Italy joined the Axis alliance, driven by visions of a new Roman Empire. Ethiopia and Albania were the first to experience the brunt of Italian aggression, with many more to follow. The formation of the Axis alliance in 1940 was a strategic masterstroke. By joining forces, these nations were able to coordinate their military efforts, bolster their resources, and effectively challenge the collective might of the Allies. The world had not seen such a display of power and aggression since the days of Napoleon Bonaparte. Indeed, the early years of the war saw the Axis powers on the ascendant. Their rapid expansion, their stunning victories, their unrelenting aggression, all these factors contributed to a sense of invincibility. The Axis powers seemed unstoppable, but the Allies were not ready to surrender. The stage was set for the Allies to rise, to challenge the Axis powers, and to bring an end to their reign of terror. The world held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. In the face of adversity, the Allies rallied together. As the dark clouds of World War II gathered, the Allied forces, primarily the United Kingdom, the United States, the Soviet Union, and China, found themselves in dire straits. Faced with the relentless advance of the Axis powers, they knew they had to act decisively. The formation of the Allied forces wasn't immediate. Initially, the United Kingdom and France stood together, later joined by the Soviet Union and the United States, both forced into the fray by unprovoked attacks. China, embroiled in conflict with Japan since the mid-30s, naturally aligned with these powers, forming what we now know as the Allies. Their strategy to counteract the Axis powers was multifaceted. It involved securing crucial supply routes, launching counteroffensives, and above all, ensuring the cohesion of this unlikely alliance. Yet the path wasn't easy. Each step towards victory was hard-fought and steeped in sacrifice. Key battles marked turning points in the war. The Battle of Stalingrad was a brutal confrontation where the Soviet Union halted the German advance into their territory. This battle, lasting over 5 months, is often regarded as one of the deadliest in history. Yet it marked a significant turning point in the war in favor of the Allies. In the Pacific, the Battle of Midway saw the United States Navy decisively defeat an attacking fleet of the Imperial Japanese Navy. This momentous victory, coming just 6 months after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor, marked a pivotal point in the Pacific War. In North Africa, the Second Battle of El Alamein saw the British secure a much-needed victory, disrupting Axis plans and bolstering Allied morale. This triumph marked the beginning of the end for the Axis powers in Africa. Each of these battles, fought on land, at sea, and in the air, demonstrated the Allies' resilience and determination. They showcased the strength of unity in the face of adversity and the indomitable spirit of those who fought for freedom. And with each victory, with each turning point, the Allies were paving the way towards the end of the war. The tide of the war was about to turn. The year is 1945. The world is on edge. As the war raged on, everyone, from the highest-ranking officials to the ordinary citizens, could sense the climax approaching. The stakes were sky-high, and the fate of millions hung in the balance. The world had become a giant chessboard, with nations as its pieces, and the next move would be the most decisive yet. In the heart of the Pacific, the island nation of Japan stood as the last bastion of the Axis powers. The Allied forces, led by the United States, were closing in, but Japan's resolve remained unbroken. The endgame was near, but the path to peace was shrouded in uncertainty and fear. In a desperate bid to end the war, the United States took a step that would forever change the course of history. On August 6th, the city of Hiroshima felt the wrath of a new kind of weapon, the atomic bomb. In an instant, over 60% of the city was reduced to rubble, and tens of thousands of lives were lost. 3 days later, another bomb, nicknamed Fat Man, fell on the city of Nagasaki. The devastation was unimaginable. The world had witnessed the destructive power of nuclear weapons for the first time, and it was a sight that would haunt humanity for generations to come. With the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in ruins, and the death toll rising by the day, Japan was left with no choice but to surrender. On August 15th, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's capitulation, bringing an end to the bloodiest conflict in human history. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief. The war was finally over. However, the scars of war ran deep. Cities were in ruins, families were torn apart, and the world was left to grapple with the aftermath of a conflict that had taken millions of lives. World War II had ended, but its impact was far from over. In the wake of the war, the world was forever changed. As the dust settled on the battlefields and the echoes of gunfire faded into the annals of history, the aftermath of the Second World War left a world that was dramatically different. Nations lay in ruins, millions of lives were lost, and the global political landscape was irrevocably altered. The world had witnessed the horrors of war on an unprecedented scale, and in response, the international community came together to form the United Nations. This new global organization was born out of a necessity to prevent such devastating conflict from ever happening again. Its primary goal was to promote peace, foster international cooperation, and protect human rights worldwide. The United Nations represented a beacon of hope in a world ravaged by war. It was a testament to the resilience of humanity and a promise to future generations that the lessons of the Second World War would not be forgotten. However, the aftermath of the war also gave rise to new tensions, marking the onset of the Cold War. The planet was divided into two opposing ideological camps. On one side stood the United States and its allies, champions of democracy and capitalism. On the other side, the Soviet Union and its allies, staunch defenders of communism. This ideological divide set the stage for a new kind of conflict, one fought not on traditional battlefields, but through political maneuvering, economic warfare, and the ever-looming threat of nuclear annihilation. The Cold War, a silent but deadly struggle for global supremacy, had begun. The Second World War also reshaped the global political landscape in other profound ways. It resulted in the decolonization of many regions, as former colonies took advantage of their weakened colonial powers to fight for and gain their independence. It also propelled the United States and the Soviet Union to become superpowers, each wielding significant influence on the world stage. The aftermath of the war also saw significant advancements in technology, many of which were a direct result of wartime innovations. The world saw the birth of the digital age, the advent of space exploration, and the dawn of the nuclear era, developments that would continue to shape the course of human history in the decades that followed. Indeed, the ripples of the Second World War continue to resonate in our world today. Its lessons serve as somber reminders of the devastating consequences of conflict and the importance of maintaining peace. World War II was a pivotal moment in history. Its echoes still felt today. So what can we learn from this monumental event in human history? As we delve into the key takeaways from World War II, let's remember the lessons this global conflict has imparted upon us. Firstly, we've seen the rise of the Axis powers, a stark reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked ambition and power. Secondly, the response from the Allies demonstrated the crucial role of unity and international cooperation in the face of shared threats. The war's climax served as a testament to the resilience of nations and the indomitable human spirit. And in the aftermath, we've seen how countries rebuilt from the ashes, fostering a renewed commitment to peace and global collaboration. These lessons from World War II are not just historical footnotes. They're enduring reminders of our shared past, shaping the world we live in today. As we remember World War II, we are reminded of the power of unity, resilience, and the human spirit.